Well, Joe's friend Larry was opening a new business. And so Joe decided to send flowers for the occasion. And so the flowers arrived, and Larry was very confused when he read the card because it said, "Rest in peace." And so Larry called and asked Joe if this was a joke. And Joe, enraged, called the florist to complain. And the florist replied, "Sir, I am really sorry for the mistake. But rather than getting angry, you should imagine this. Somewhere there's a funeral taking place today, and they have flowers with the note saying, 'Congratulations on your new location.'" Dance. Well, today is a result of someone coming up to me and suggesting that, given what's happening in our world, let's review some Robert Brummett wisdom. Reverend Robert Brummett is very dear to me. He was my advisor in school, and he's been here just as a blessing to us. He has family over in Virginia, and so we're able to kind of, scoop him up to come teach at SEE more often than we might be able to if that wasn't the case. And so Robert has written several books. Robert taught ministerial students for decades. He has practiced insight meditation since 1988. He's led a Sangha and meditation retreat since 1995. And one of the books that we read here a few years ago was Living Originally. And so this person that suggested that I bring forth Robert Brummett wisdom said, "How about from Living Originally?" And I thought, that is such a great idea. Because as I opened it up again, what jumped out at me, as kind of a tag on to last week's message was dancing with chaos. Yeah. And everything is my teacher. I thought, okay, I need a review on this. So let's dive in together, okay? All right. So chaos. Let's look at the origin of that word from the Greek. It's defined as formless, primordial space. This space is the great void that came before the creation of the universe in Greek mythology. So in the Greek creation myth, chaos was a great infinite abyss of nothingness. And from this great void, the earth goddess Gaia emerged. Gaia represents the world of form and structure. So, of course, this world of form and structure is what we are familiar with, right? We kind of feel safe in and might cling to. But going back to the definition, of formless primordial space, Robert Brummett defines the term primordial from a biological standpoint, relating to the earliest stage of development of an organism. So chaos is the earliest stage of a new life forming and unfolding. And Gaia, the world of form and structure, came out of this chaos. All forms have arisen from the formless, the infinite nothingness, the infinite, boundless, unlimited realm of possibility. So, in this context, chaos is not a bad thing. It goes beyond turmoil and confusion to the foundation of all creation. Yay! So chaos is the unformed and unborn potential for new life. New life. So when life feels chaotic and upside down instead of resisting it, what if we could see it as an opportunity of birthing a place of new creation? So when we embrace chaos, when we dance with it, we enter into its creative energy and flow. And we become co-creators with it instead of victims to it. Now that feels empowering, doesn't it? Okay? As we consciously choose to dance, and I call it leaning in. You know how sometimes when there's chaos in our life, we want to go, "Ugh." And so this is more about leaning in and dancing with the chaos. Because it means, as we dance with it, as we take it on as our partner, that we've let go of resistance and are flowing with its rhythm through the power of our intention. I love this quote. Although chaos may seem unnerving and unpredictable, it will flow in the direction of the intention we declare. I'm going to repeat that. Chaos will flow in the direction of the intention we declare. So, folks, what are we declaring? Yeah. Because in order to do that, we must open our hearts and lives to a greater reality emerging. And so I think we can all relate this to the news and what's going on right now. And how about in our personal lives? And so I just wanted to share something with you about how this expressed in my life recently. Many of you know that, Sheryl has moved through some death in her family in the last few years. Yeah. And so my sister passed away in 2015 in a car accident, and my mother was in a nursing facility, and what we discovered was that my sister had a hoarding issue. And it was kind of a secret life that I discovered. And I discovered it through walking in 2 houses and discovering there were 2 storage units and cars and all kinds of things. And let me tell you, you want to think chaos. It was chaos. And it is the antithesis of I get you can imagine, I like order in my life. And order to me is, peace and tranquility, and there's space. And all of a sudden I walk in these spaces unbeknownst to me and my family, where it was like everywhere. And my first response was, oh my God, and a lot of grief. And I had to move through this process of learning how to dance with this chaos through the power of an intention. Because I thought, what is my intention with this? Am I just going to stay angry that I get to clean this up? Am I going to be a victim to this? And I just decided, you know what? It's mine to do. For whatever reason, it's mine to do. And so I stepped into that intention. And the beautiful thing about it is, out of the blue, the perfect buyer came for this house. And I had not completely finished cleaning it out. This has been like a several-year process. When I would go to Charlotte and clean out a room or clean out a closet. And this perfect buyer from Kansas City bought my aunt's house. And he has been sending me pictures of how he is reinventing it. And at first he thought, is this going to really upset you? And I'm like, no, you have no idea. Because I set an intention that this house was going to be livable again, and people were going to be happy in it, like some of the memories that we had growing up. And he's painted the outside, and he's cleaned out all the rest that I couldn't get out. And so I just share this story with you because this was a moment in my life of absolute chaos, literally in my external world. And at some level, I had to just dance with it because it was what is. It's just what is. So the next thing that Robert Brummett talks about is, what if we just let everything be our teacher? Like all the stuff in our life, the external world, as crazy as it is right now, maybe in our lives, the chaos, what if we could dance with it and embrace truly that it's teaching us? You know, I don't think there's some outside God saying, okay, Carol, you are going to learn a lesson about XYZ. I really think that we choose to allow the chaos in our life to teach us. I really think that I've been living into some kind of curriculum that I've created for myself, and that it continues to teach me. And that is not to endorse a spiritual bypass, folks. You know, when we confront a situation of chaos in our lives, sometimes it evokes fear, sometimes it evokes really deep hurt and upset. And so we get to work with that. We're not going to bypass that, like it's all good. Because I do believe that everything is for us. But sometimes it takes us a little while to get there. But from our intention, I think that we can embrace it. I think that we can allow everything to teach us. But there's a Buddhist teaching that says in order to do that, then we need to empty. You know how we can get so full and we can get so full of anxiety or so full of our response to something that there's not really enough room to let something in to teach us? And so there's a story that I love from the Buddhist tradition about a Japanese Zen master who was visited by a very intelligent university professor who came to him to learn all about Zen. And after introducing himself, the professor proceeded to tell the Zen master everything he knew about Asian religion, history, culture, and expressed how learning Zen would greatly add to his repertoire of knowledge. And the Zen master served the professor some tea, and he filled the professor's teacup to overflowing and kept pouring. You've probably heard this story. And the professor shouted, "Stop, stop! The cup is already too full." And the Zen master responded, "Like this cup, you too are too full of what you think you know. I cannot show you Zen unless you first empty your cup." You know, Jesus is quoted as saying, "Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." And so, the kingdom of heaven, you know, what we teach in Unity, is that we can create an experience of heaven or we can create an experience of hell. And what Jesus, I think, was saying is that, you know how a child doesn't stay too stuck in their circumstances. They might cry, have a tantrum, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, watermelon," or whatever. Yeah. So, here we are, and the world looks a little interesting on our day-to-day news feed. So the opportunity I think that we have is to set an intention. What's our intention? Can we dance with it? Can we lean into it instead of resisting it as much? Because I think sometimes we think that resisting it means I'm taking a stand against it. But I think how we get to shift to create an experience of heaven is, what are we for? What are we for right now? And can we set an intention and live into that and dance with that? And embrace that whatever is happening in our world is really teaching us. It's teaching us, folks, the truth of what we are. It's an opportunity that we can use to claim our divinity. Are you with me? You good? Yeah. So let's dance as much as we can and be gentle with ourselves. So this week, I'm going to just ask you to look for how you can choose to dance with whatever's showing up in your life. And Robert Brummett suggests in meditation to go to that still point. Remember the still point. That when life is feeling outwardly chaotic, breathe. Go to the still point. And I love the question, what is mine to do? What is mine to know? Because it's right there. And declare, folks, an intention of what we want to create. What do we want to create? Let's live into that. Let's live into what we are for. And allow and choose that it's really all right here. What's it teaching me? What is it? What do I get to know right now? So let's affirm together. In the midst of life's chaos, I let go of resistance, dance, and choose to learn from everything. I allow a new and expansive possibility to unfold. Let's dance. Let's do it.